Hello, you're listening to Everyday Encouragement, Timeless Truths for Today, a weekly podcast that brings you snippets of encouragement to help you as you go about your day. I'm Jenny Guy, your host. I have a question for you. What's in your medicine cabinet? If you're like me, your quick-acting pain relief pills aren't in the medicine cabinet. They're close at hand, ready to be picked up at the first sign of a headache or any other pain. Today's episode focuses on a prescription that can be filled anytime, anywhere, whenever life is painful. Let's get started. How do you deal with uncertainty and problems and stress? Do you have a favorite method, one you use often? I turn to books and music when life becomes a little too much for me to handle. I can lose myself for hours in the pages of a book. And usually when I re-enter my world after having spent some time living in another author's world and interacting with her characters and their problems, my mood is much better and my positive attitude is back. But sometimes, depending on the situation, even a book isn't enough to take my mind off my problems. Those are the times when I turn to music. Today's episode is a little different. It's different because I want to share with you 3 songs that comfort and encourage me greatly whenever I'm feeling down or discouraged or overwhelmed by life and its situations and problems. I call them my comfort songs. One song is classical and was written nearly 200 years ago. The other 2 are contemporary. Don't worry, I'm not going to sing. I'm just going to recite the lyrics. At this point, you might be wondering, Jenny, come on, 3 songs? Isn't that overkill? Well, I hope it isn't and that you'll bear with me. I'm sharing them with you because I think that the composers all paint the same picture despite the differences in their musical expressions. The picture is of a person who has learned to go to God with all of his or her problems. That person has grown to be confident in God's willingness and ability to help. The size or severity or nature of the problem isn't significant. If it matters to you, then it matters to God. These songs can all be found on YouTube. I highly recommend that you check them out. I think you'll be glad that you did. The first number is a choral piece by Felix Mendelssohn from his oratorio, Elijah. Titled, Cast Thy Burden Upon the Lord, here are the lyrics. Cast thy burden upon the Lord, and he shall sustain thee. He never will suffer the righteous to fall. He is at thy right hand. Thy mercy, Lord, is great and far above the heavens. Let none be made ashamed that wait upon thee. I tried to find the psalm upon which Mendelssohn based his composition. Psalm 55 is the one I think he used, as the 22nd verse contains many of the same words. The remainder of his composition apparently borrows themes from several other psalms. The suggestion that we cast our cares upon the Lord is repeated in the New Testament in the book of 1 Peter. Here we are told quite clearly to cast all of our cares upon God, for he cares for us. Webster's dictionary defines cast as throwing something away or throwing it off. I like the image that this definition creates. Can you picture someone tossing a ball far, far away? Or a person shrugging off something, like a coat, because it no longer fits and then throwing it on a pile of clothing to be gotten rid of. That's what these verses invite us to do. To toss our cares and throw our problems away from us and into God's strong hands. Now for the contemporary songs. The first is by Richard Smallwood. Here are the lyrics of his song, I Love the Lord. I love the Lord. He heard my cry and pitied every groan. Long as I live and troubles rise, I'll hasten to his throne. I don't know where Richard Smallwood got the inspiration for his song, but the assurance that God hears us when we cry is woven throughout the Psalms. And in the book of Hebrews in the New Testament, we are told to boldly go before God's throne of grace and ask for help. We are assured that we will get the help we need in times of trouble. Both of these themes are confidently stated in this song. Now, here's the last of my comfort songs. This one is by Andre Crouch. It appears to be somewhat autobiographical in nature. The song's title is Through It All. Verse 1. I've had many tears and sorrows. I've had questions for tomorrow. There have been times I didn't know right from wrong. But in every situation, God gave blessed consolation that my trials come to only make me strong. Verse 2. I've been to lots of places. I've seen lots of faces. There have been times I felt so all alone. But in my lonely hours, yes, those precious lonely hours, Jesus let me know I was his own. Verse 3. I thank God for the mountains, and I thank him for the valleys. I thank him for the storms he brought me through. For if I'd never had a problem, I wouldn't know God could solve them. I'd never know what faith in his word could do. Now for the chorus. Through it all, I've learned to trust in Jesus. I've learned to trust in God. Through it all, I've learned to depend upon his word. These composers are all saying the same things. First, God isn't just interested in us, he cares for us, and he cares for what bothers us. Second, despite how alone we may feel when we're in troubled times, God is always very close to us. In fact, he's right there with us in our problems. Third, if we ask for and depend upon God for his help, then we won't be embarrassed or ashamed because we have trusted in him. And fourth, God will answer our cries. Well, as my daughter says, that's all I've got. I've enjoyed sharing my comfort songs with you, and I hope they encourage you as they do me. I hope you heard something today that has encouraged you and possibly given you something new to think about that will motivate or inspire you. If you would like a PDF copy of the show notes for this episode of Everyday Encouragement, Timeless Truths for Today, visit my website at jguypublisher.com. New episodes are published each week on Wednesday. I hope you'll join me for another installment of Everyday Encouragement, Timeless Truths for Today. Well, that's it for now. Until next time, be encouraged.